Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20. Breaks free to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40 midfield. 40 30 to the coast. 20 15 Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook, what? Go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning as well, like that page, and not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent! And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. Okay, click the subscribe button. Also click the notification button. That's the bell right next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. You get it? You got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, yeah, baby, yeah. Listen, please don't tell me that you didn't know we had a mobile app. Well, listen, wherever you get your apps from, it doesn't matter where you get them from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Venture, Woolworth, Weebles, Gold Blast, wherever you get it from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, and not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles. Thanks to my man Clarence, Council the Third. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And listen, if you didn't know, you better ask somebody. We have our own Roku channel. Okay, so here's what you do. If you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor, download Sports Zone Chicago's channel right to your TV. Put it right there next to Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Max, Disney Plus, Apple, wherever. people texting me. Wherever you get that's why you mute all this stuff. It threw me off. Anyway, download it, put it right next to all these things because we're on the big screen right Mickey Ficky now. All right. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. And if you want to follow me, just me personally online, let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you, folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, you can follow her at Maya_Akai. MAYA_AKAI. Man, we have a great show, but I need you to get interactive, and we're going to get started early. So leave a question or comment. Whatever platform you're watching this on, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show, and that, my people, is what makes this the best Chicago sports morning show around. And that's you. All right, so bring them all, baby. Want them all. Question, comments, smart-ass remarks. Okay? Because like The Rock said, because like I said, ain't nobody scared over here. And like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it, just bring it. Man, look at this chat is jumping like a whole bunch of Mexican jumping beans. Woo-wee. Cornelia Squall's in the house. What's up, Papa? Sports owners unite. Stand up. That's what I'm talking about. Be Smooth's in the house. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. is in the house. What's up, Papa? Lavette Lee is in the house. Man, we are rolling. Jay Grizz, baby. Happy Friday, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Show Day is in the house. Mr. Shorty, how you doing, Papa? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Man, King Booker World. Yo, Papa, what is up? Marshawn Walls is in the house. Man, Jay Grizz in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Man, look at this. I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know there's more of the usual suspects that will chime in as the show goes on. I can't get to everybody right now because, man, we have a phenomenal, phenomenal show. Did I say Lavette Lee? I don't know if I did. If I didn't, good morning, Mama. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Jay Grizz, bear down, baby. Bear down. Yes, yes, yes. Wait, listen. We're getting it started. We're getting it started at 9:30, so we got about 15 minutes before it's jumping. Oh man, Randy Trivers, one of my best friends, not even college. We were teammates at Holy Cross, and he was Caleb Williams' high school coach. He's going to join us at 9:30 at the bottom of the hour. I was just texting him earlier. He's fired up. He's hanging from a long night of partying, and you know what? I ain't mad at him at all. So he's going to join us at 9:30, talk about his boy, his former player, how crazy it is for him to have a number 1 overall draft pick. Whew. Not only that, but they also don't, if you're not aware, Olufushanu, the left tackle for Penn State, was also teammates with Caleb Williams and played under my guy, Randy Trivers, as well. So he's going to be on at 9:30. Okay. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to have Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. And we're going to continue this Bears conversation. So let's get all the other pleasantries out. Jay Grizz, say hello to Caleb, Chi-Town Barbie, and Camila Cardoso for me. I ain't mad at you, dog. Lavette, no. Stop drinking in the morning. Oh, man. But, guys, you know how we do. Let's get it rolling. You know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
First top of the morning topic, because we're not even going to get to this if we don't talk about it right now. I know it. I know you guys are fired up. I know you want to go there, but if we don't get to this, and this is Chicago stuff too, we won't get to it. The Cubs. Yeah. The Cubs with a big win over the Houston Astros yesterday, 3-1 sweep. The Houston Astros, excuse me, with that 3-1 sweep yesterday. And man, they were dealing. Javier Assad, he got a no decision. He went 5 2/3, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, 5 punch outs. PCA with his first hit of the year. Made it a meaningful one, a dinger, a round tripper driving in 2. His first homer of the season, his first 2 RBIs of the year. Nico Horner was 3 for 5 with a double, and Amaya drove in his 9th RBI of the season. The Cubs, they travel to Boston. The next top of the morning topic, they travel to Boston for a weekend set against the Carmines or the Red Sox. First pitch is at 6:10 p.m. Central. You can catch that on the Marquee Network or listen to it on their flagship 6:70 a.m. Shoto Imanaga is on the bump for the Cubs. He's 3-0 with a 0.84 ERA going up against Cutter Crawford, who's on a bump for the Carmines. For the Red Sox, he's 1-0 with a 0.66 ERA. Yeah. Next top of the morning topic is my White Sox. Well, they're on the other side of it. They get swept after a 6-3 loss to the Minnesota Twins. Soroka got a no decision. He was 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 punch out. Andrew Vaughn was 2 for 5 with a double, his 4th. Nick DeYoung was 1 for 3 with an RBI, his 5th. And Kevin Pillar drove in his 4th RBI of the season. The White Sox host the Tampa Bay Rays for a weekend set. First pitch is 6:40 tonight. You can catch that on Apple TV Plus or listen to it on their flagship station, AM 1000. Zach Eflin is on the bump for Tampa. He's 1-2 with a 3.68 ERA. He's going up against Chris Flexen, who's on the bump for the Southsiders, who's 0-3 with a 6.41 ERA. The next top of the morning topic, yeah, baby. Yes. The Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick, first pick. We had a draft party at Output yesterday. I want to thank everyone who came out to that. It was one heck of a time, and a lot of people believe Caleb is the guy, is the dude. He is the guy that they're looking to end the quarterback desert that we've had. Again, I don't think people keep forgetting. It's not just the quarterback. Everyone, and this is what I fail to understand what people don't get. People have talked about this guy, and he's talented. He is unbelievably talented. But we've had talented quarterbacks before. We had Justin. We had Jay Cutler. It's the coaching that's behind these quarterbacks, okay, is what makes the difference. And I think the Bears did a great job. And I said it yesterday, last show. I've said it repeatedly. I will continue to say it. The biggest acquisition this offseason is Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator, the play caller. That is the biggest acquisition. All right. Caleb is going to benefit greatly from this. Okay, a guy who's called plays before in the NFL, a guy who can maximize the skill set of quarterbacks. So this young man is stepping into one heck of a situation. But the day wasn't done, because the next top of the morning topic, with the number 9 pick, the Bears says, hold on, we're not done, player. They go draft a wide receiver who many thought would not be there at 9, Rome Odunze. And let me tell you something, it was crazy. All right, it started off with this at the airport. All right, when they're flying from LA to Detroit. And let me tell you, it was so cool to see, because they built a friendship, a bond. And actually, they worked out together. So Caleb was out in LA, and it's throwing to Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze was there as well, which was pretty odd, but okay. So they have, I don't know, a sense of, they've started forming, a little friendship, which I think is pretty cool. It's going to be very important for these guys as this goes on, because now they're in line, they're in sync. They're both on 4 or 5 year deals. They should become really good friends. So it goes from that to this, to this, to this. Yeah. So he was happy. If you saw, the Chicago Bears media, social media team did a phenomenal job. I think he was doing, I don't know what he was doing, Rome Odunze, but Caleb they were asking, and they said, oh, he's in here. And Caleb runs in and is like, Rome Odunze, and they were just kind of excited about being teammates. He went out to find him. And I just think that's awesome. I think the friendship that they're building, that they're forging, is going to be a very good one for us for years to come. I think it's going to be, he got his guy. All right. And no disrespect to the other stud receivers we have. Okay. But Rome Odunze does, he can sit and learn, and he can literally fly under the radar. Okay. Because let's be honest, you can't set your defense up to stop Rome Odunze. You cannot do that. If you're a defensive coordinator, you can't. There's no way. You can't set up your defense. You can't say the safety over. You can't do it. Because otherwise DJ Moore and Keenan Allen will destroy you. So he should be able to eat, and he should be able to eat well his rookie year. So looking forward to that. It's going to be, man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We got some new things in the chat. Yes, Jay Grizz. Yeah, that was odd. Falcons throwing everyone for a loop. You know, one of the yeah. That was crazy. That was nuts. That was nuts. You know, why would they do that when they owe Kirk Cousins so much money? I have no idea. I have no idea. Even Kirk Cousins was taken aback by it. Yeah, something they didn't see. And Atlanta screwed themselves. Unless they're planning to trade Kirk Cousins, and I don't know who's going to want to take him with his massive contract. Yeah, I'm a little interested in what that was going with that. Yeah. Yeah, Cornelius, I don't know. Relax. Let's not get out over our skis. All right, Jay Cutler. Listen, Jay Cutler, Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, Kyle Long. Yeah, let's not get too crazy over there. All right, let's not get too crazy. And I don't know if you know, but every single person on that offense with Cutler and Forte, they had made the Pro Bowl, or they went to another team and made a Pro Bowl. So that was a stacked team as well. So I'm not going to put this as the best offense. It's up there. It's definitely in the top 3, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, if Penix sits and watches, first of all, Michael Penix is like 25 years old. How long you want to do to sit? And it's very possible that's what they're doing. Let me see. He's 25. I just want to make sure. I don't want him to speak. Yeah. Oh no. He's only May 8th. So he's 24. He'll be 24. He'll be 24 on May 8th. So you guys sit him for what? 2 years? A year? 2 years? Yeah. Okay. So he'll be 26 when he starts. Okay. We'll see. But hey, you know one other team that had a really good draft? The Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, we have to be leery about those guys. I think J.J. McCarthy was a huge get for them. All right, they traded up to number 10 to get J.J. McCarthy, and then they traded up to Jacksonville, number 17, to get the edge defensive end that they lost when, Danielle Hunter signed with the Texans, and they got Dallas Turner. So let's not get it twisted. It's going to be Minnesota had a nice draft as well. So NFC North is going to be tough. I don't know what to tell you, but you know what? We got some weapons now. We have a lot of weapons. We have a stud defense. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. We should be able to score a lot of touchdowns this year, and with that defense, that playoff ready defense, I am fired up to see how this all plays out. So, well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my man. And this is literally my man. I'm not being Ahmad Rashad, and, everyone was Ahmad Rashad's man. This is my dude. Man, we went to college together. Spent time with him and his family over Easter 1 year. Was at his wedding. Oh, yeah, he also happened to be Caleb Williams' high school coach. My man, Randy Trivers from down in D.C. He's going to join us on the other side of the break, so don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to talk. What are we getting in Caleb Williams? What's some personal things that he can tell us that other people can't? Can't wait to hear it. Keep it locked right here. My man, Randy Trivers, Gonzaga's high school head coach, coming up next. So keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Whoa. Wow. Oh, that was crazy. That was nutso. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at Sports Zone Chicago. Man, I am excited to get this guy. It's been a while. Last time we hung out was in the B-more. Holy cow, that's been a long time, and he's I'm looking forward to talking to him about the #1 overall pick. Guys, let's welcome to Sports Zone Chicago for the first time. Gonzaga's head coach Caleb Williams, high school coach, and my good friend Randy Trivers. Randy, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. It's exciting to be here with you, my man, on the Sports Zone. All right, so I appreciate you having me on, and I know you are a Chicago man, and last night I officially became a big-time Chicago Bear fan as well. So here we go.
Wait, so I know you personally. So now, how are they taking up over your Cowboys, or where are we at now? Because I know you grew up in the DC area, but you weren't a Redskin fan back in the day. You're a Cowboy fan. So now you got the #1 overall pick.
That's right.
Where are the Bears now?
You're right. You're right, my good friend. I grew up a Cowboys fan. However, in my home now, my wife and my 2 children are Commanders, big time Commanders fans. And
okay.
And if the Cowboys were to play the Bears tomorrow, I'm all in for the Chicago Bears, baby. all in for the Chicago Bears. So make no mistake, that's my squad, as well as the New York Jets. So that's what I'm pulling for, a Bears-Jets Super Bowl this year.
Oh, that would you'd be in heaven, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
talk to us about last night. Obviously, there was a poorly kept secret, all right, that the Bears were going to take Caleb. The Bears only had one quarterback in their top 30 visit. Caleb only visited one team, and that was the Bears. How surreal was it? Because you've known this kid for what, 8 years now, at least 8 years, 7-8 years now, and talk to me how surreal it was for you seeing one of your former players being taken not in the first round, not just in the first round, but with the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, and certainly a different feeling. I mean, as a coach, mentor, teacher, you have great moments where you're able to, on the outside looking in, have a great feeling for the accomplishments of those that you're working with. This is very dreamlike. So the Heisman Trophy was another one of those types of moments. Being the first pick in the NFL draft is so rare, more so than the eclipse the other week. And then to have it happen in this fashion, Heisman Trophy, then ultimately the 2 years later, the first pick in the NFL draft. It's really amazing. And as I'm sitting there last night, I it's it's happening. So it's you're pretty sure it's going to happen, but you don't know until they announce it.
Yeah.
You know for sure that the pick's not traded. Something crazy, anything crazy could happen, right? But when it's announced, it's an amazing feeling for sure. But just more happy for Caleb and him fulfilling his dream than anything else.
So he's coming to a big market, and I know DC is a big market. LA is a big market where he was at in SC. But what are we getting? Because he's got a lot of flack. Caleb seems to march to the beat of his own drummer. He had the fashion of the picture with him in the dress, and then the recent thing with the nails and the pink phone case. What is Chicago getting with this guy? He won a state championship. I remember you sent me the video of the crazy state championship that he won. That was amazing. But what are the Chicago Bears getting that people don't know about Caleb?
Well, I mean, you see the amazing gifts that he has in the field, his ability to throw the ball with tremendous accuracy and velocity and put the ball in spots that normal human beings cannot, his ability to make plays with his legs, his combo plays where he makes plays with his legs and his arm. He's people, you kind of have been able to witness that, whether you saw him play youth league football, high school football, college football. He's done that. So I would imagine those things will continue to happen. But I think it's really learning about his ability to up close and personal. The city will see his ability to perform under pressure and his ability to impact others around him in a very strong way. So I think, Chicago, the city of Chicago is getting a great person that's going to impact the Chicago community in a very strong way, and will represent the franchise and the city, the state of Illinois, I think, in a very, very positive manner. He's a hell of a human being. So some of the things that you mentioned are, I think, very, very trivial when you talk about this type of guy that's doing the right things based on how he's conducted himself as a student athlete, a human being, in my time knowing him, and I would expect he would continue to. So that's number one. Number two is you will know that his teammates will have a tremendous amount of love and respect for him because of the way that he operates with his teammates. Again, he did that. He earned the respect and trust of his high school teammates and coaches very, very early in the process because of his blend of humility, self-confidence, work ethic, selflessness with his teammates. And then I think that's the same when he's had his great success at the University of Oklahoma and then at USC at Southern Cal. And I think that pattern, I don't see why it will not continue with the Chicago Bears. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Bears felt really good about making him their number one selection overall.
Guys, we're joined by Randy Trivers, my good friend from college, and Gonzaga High School head football coach, Caleb Williams, head football coach. One of the questions I did want to ask you was his leadership, and you kind of alluded to it there because there were some questions. You know, this team was led by Justin Fields last year, and he had a great amount of respect by the teammates, by the locker room, and he's coming into a new situation where some people, are a little leery about that had been in question his leadership ability. What can you say to put at ease, some of the fandom about his leadership skills, because this was a strong locker room last year, and that leader is now gone, and you're inserting a new leader, and it could go one way, it could go the other. But what can you say about Caleb's leadership abilities that can kind of put Bears fans' nerves at ease?
I mean, I think that's what is so. When I think of Caleb and how he has had success in the different spaces that he's been in, he has a way of leading through action. All right, so the strongest leadership isn't the person that talks it, but the person that walks it and then earns the respect to be able to talk it, so to speak. So I think Caleb will show his teammates and the franchise, the coaches, everybody involved in this franchise, that he's not just passionate about football because he says it, but his actions will show. He'll be ultra prepared when it comes to how he meets, how he trains, how he prioritizes the process, and those around him will see that. Ultimately, you respect it. And then there's a genuine vibe that he has as far as his why, so he's ultra competitive and wants to be the very, very best. But I think he has a love for for others around him. So he is, I think his leadership will be early on, will be something that his teammates will gravitate towards him and see, man, this guy, he's a man of action. And then, and he's consistent with that. And then the other one, big one, Shawn, is his, so leadership's always, it's easier to be a leader when the sun is shining. All right. And the temperature is mild. All right. It's a little bit more difficult to be the leader when it's raining or it's snowing, or it's windy in the Windy City, or it's cold, or it's blazing hot. That's a little more difficult when the conditions aren't so kind. So I think the strong thing about Caleb that he's shown a pattern of in his history is under pressure, okay, and under duress, and when the circumstances aren't quite laid out there favorably, he has a great way of going right through the fog, through the fire, and those that are around him, they follow him and they believe in him. So it's with Caleb, you always have a chance. Chicago, I think the city will feel that, the fans will feel it, everybody in the franchise. When if there's time on the clock in the football game, you have a chance. And I know there's been some great athletes in the city of Chicago that gave the town that feeling. All right, the ball's in this dude's hands, whether it's a couple of famous basketball players that we all know, or some of the great footballers. You have a belief, and not that every one of those games were won, but you knew you had a chance, and right down to the end, you believe. So I think that's what Caleb's leadership. It's probably one of the best ways I can describe.
Once again, guys, we're joined by Randy Trivers, Caleb Williams, high school coach at Gonzaga in Washington, D.C., talking about Caleb and Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. What do you say to the criticism of the infamous picture of him after the game in the stands with him with his mom crying about that? What do you say? How do you push back on that? Because he got a lot of criticism from a lot of people about that. About you talked about leadership.
Yeah.
How do you push back on that situation?
That's an easy one. So I would be very, very concerned if I was the Chicago Bears, if I were anybody affiliated with the franchise or anybody in that city. If Caleb Williams in the middle of the third quarter was crying because he threw an interception or because he got sacked or because the team is down by a couple of scores, I would be very concerned. All right. However, when a person invests in something, I believe this. All right. So when you invest mind, body, and spirit into something, and when it's done, it's all said and done, and you've given everything you've gotten, then I think it's very appropriate to shed two types of tears: the tears of victory, of glory, and those that have experienced that in athletics. You know what I'm talking about, all right? When it comes to, man, you feel so doggone good after victory because you've invested mind, body, and spirit that there are tears that come down your face. And then it's the tears of defeat that you've invested so much for these people that you care so deeply for, and it didn't come out our way. But the game, it's over. I've got no problem at all with that. That shows that, man, this athlete really gives a doggone, really cares. It's a different NFL today, Shawn, as we know. Like back in the day of the Dick Butkus days, baby. The guys weren't taking selfies after the game with each other and loving each other up after you get your butt kicked. All right. I don't know that. Even my man Walter Payton was giving hugs and kisses to the opponent after games, right? Back in the day. It's different today. It's a different league. And I say that because I don't mind at all that somebody cares enough to not just laugh and joke after they maybe take an L, but they may have a little bit of they may be upset a little bit. All right, it hurts a little bit, and quite frankly, I think that's a grown man thing to do. And as a coach, I know I've shed tears of my players post game, whether it be victory or loss. So I think that's very, very. And that's of absolutely no concern for me or for anybody that's in the city of Chicago.
We shed tears after 11-0. Remember we finished 11-0 in 1991. Finished number 3 in the country. We weren't allowed to go to the back then it was 1AA playoffs due to that stupid rule. I would have loved to have been able to go to the playoffs with Chacho and Jerome and Mark Roman and all those guys. It would have been phenomenal. But yeah, so you and I have shed tears on the football field as well. So can you give us a story that maybe only that hasn't been plastered all over? Because there's been a lot of things. Give us a Caleb story from high school. We know he had his own apartment living in DC, which shows a heck of a lot of maturity at that stage of the game. But can you let us in on any story from Caleb from back then that us Chicago fans would like to hear?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. Caleb's a very relatable guy. When it comes down to it, he's the thing that sometimes you have these heroes that are extraordinary because you look at them from the outside, you don't know who they are as people. But the cool thing about Caleb is, he can laugh, smile, joke, and be right there with a 6-year-old kid or a 60-year-old adult or anybody in between. So I think that's a neat thing about him. But I think I think I was telling this story a little bit to because another media outlet asked me something. Hey, a similar type of question, and I thought back to us being at training camp, and I can't remember if it was his sophomore, junior year. So we travel to Pennsylvania from DC for a week, a training camp, and kind of take the whole staff of all the players. And we do a lot of football, but we also do a lot of different competitive activities, whether it's singing, dancing, playing volleyball, golf, the whole deal. But so nobody really knew, but we did this swim competition, and we're an Olympic sized pool, and the guys, you got to pick your best. I think it was best 4 swimmers from your squad, and the team is broken up into teams of, there are 8 teams of about a dozen or 15 guys, coaches included. So Caleb's team picks Caleb to swim. And, if we're going to swim the length of pool, we know we're going to swim our fastest stroke. So it's not breaststroke. It's not
the butterfly. Yeah.
It's got to be freestyle, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to freestyle it down, baby, freestyle that baby back. And we're some pretty good swimmers in there, some good athletes. Caleb goes down freestyle. And his squad, I think, is, he's the anchor for his squad. And they weren't ahead at the time that he jumps in. And I don't think they were ahead when he got down the other side. But he flip turned and he goes backstroke all the way the other way, catches everybody, and he said, "Holy moly, what can't the guy do?" All right, so the guy can swim. Look out on the lake, the big lake over there. If you have any swim competitions or contests, look out for your quarterback. All right, he might outswim everybody.
Dude, that is a crazy, crazy story. How dealing with the NIL? How have you seen him adjust to that? Because we see we saw him on the pivot, we saw him in his condo overlooking LA. Does he still seem like the same guy? His money not going to change him. I know his dad his dad was a real estate investor. It wasn't an investor. It was a development in real estate development for a long time. Do you think that money will change him? Because this is a lot of money. Not a lot of 21-year-old guys have a house overlooking Los Angeles and a house in the hills overlooking LA. Do you think this will change him, or is he still going to be the same guy that you knew when you coached him?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think when we think of growth and time, it's evolution and growth. I mean, you must change. You must adapt. Okay, so that's I think required as he matures, develops, continues to grow. By the same token, there's a foundation, I think, is what you're kind of getting at it in terms of who he is at the core and who he is. So spending time with him last night and observing him and talking to him post draft, one of the things that's really neat is he's still Caleb. He's still Caleb. So regardless of the awards, the All-American, the Heisman Trophy, the NIL that you mentioned, sure. I mean, you come into that type of fame and that type of recognition. All right, so walking down the street, Shawn Sierra and Randy Trivers, we can walk down the street and not have anybody recognize us. Maybe me, but certainly not Shawn Sierra, Chicago. All right. But Caleb Williams, we're talking about a guy that's about to is already in some ways a global star. All right, so certainly he's a nationally recognized figure, and it's difficult for him to go from place to place without somebody saying, "Hey, can I get a picture? Can I get an autograph? Can I stop and give you a hug? Whatever it is. So that is an impact on one's life that I can only imagine, because I've never lived that type of life. So yeah, you have to be ready to grow in a way that says, okay, I've got to be able to handle that type of fame, and then, as you alluded to, that type of money. Caleb is smart. He's sharp. He's intelligent. He's got a really good family foundation in terms of how he's been raised. He's got good people around him. He's always made choices to make sure that he's surrounded with the right types of people. So I think it's Caleb's fame and fortune is probably going to be on a different level, not only than most of us normal folks, but even athletes. So they're professional athletes, and then there's that top tier of professional athletes. It's sort of on another level. So he's probably in a different stratosphere when it comes to that. But I think he has the equipment to handle it well. It will be a challenge, there's no doubt. But I think he has all the tools to handle that well.
Last question before we let you know, because I know you are bombarded with interviews, and man, I really appreciate you, my man, taking time out to come in and talk with your guy about one of your former players. Caleb is stepping into a phenomenal situation, probably the best situation a number one overall quarterback has ever stepped into in the NFL. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, you just drafted Roma Dunze, all right? Cole Kmet, you upgraded the running back room. You just upgraded the offensive line as well. We finally got a center. How well do you see him? How well do you see him performing this year? And if they ask him just to manage the game, because it's a big step from college to the pros. It's a big step, just like it is from Gonzaga to Oklahoma. How well do you see Caleb playing this year? And would be patient if they said, hey, listen, we're going to run the ball a lot. We have a phenomenal defense. You can start winning games year 2, year 3. We just don't want you to lose them. Do you think he's okay with that? Can
you hear me?
I got you.
Okay, great. No, I think so. Shawn, Caleb's all about winning. So, and it doesn't matter. He's bottom line. So if that means, so there are games in high school where he threw the ball over 40 times. There are games where he threw it under 15 times and ran the ball 25 times. So whatever it takes to win, he's gonna do. He's not going to be the guy that says, hey, the baseball player that goes 4 for 4, but the team loses and he's happy, or the basketball player that drops a triple double, but the team loses and he's happy. Or the football player that throws for 350 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns, but the team loses and he's happy. That's not him. So he's going to be ready to do whatever it takes to win. It's great to know that Chicago, the franchise, has put together some really strong pieces because football's the ultimate team game, baby.
Yeah.
So you can't be alone. So it's the franchise has some good pieces around him, and when it comes to the coaching and the ball players, and I think what he will do is whatever it takes in that role to lead Chicago to victories. All right. So and if that means, hey, hey, we're running the rock more tonight, or we're tossing the rock, or he's got to run it a little bit, whatever it takes, I think he's going to be ready to do.
Randy, my man, thank you so much. Hopefully that means I'll see you more in Chicago.
No doubt.
After your season, of course. Yeah,
unfortunately, we've got some schedule conflicts in the fall sometimes, but no doubt, I would love to get out to to the city and see you and see the Bears and see my man Caleb.
And you know what? Maybe we'll have to do it for the playoffs.
There you go.
Hey, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. And we will stay in touch, man. Love you, brother. Again, thank you a lot, man. Good talking to you. Great seeing you. And make sure you say hello to the wife and kids for me.
Absolutely. Love you, bro.
All right, now.
Bears.
Guys, that's my man, Randy Trivers, Caleb Williams, head coach at Gonzaga, my good friend from Holy Cross, where we went to college. He told you basically he's a winner. He said Caleb is a winner. Whatever it takes. And Caleb echoed that the other day as well. So it's funny to see, not funny, it's interesting that what Caleb said is exactly what his head coach said. Remember, Caleb said, I'm not here to wow you. I'm here to win games. That's saying I don't need to throw for 350 yards. Okay. This guy, and they might have to do that. And I'm okay with them saying, hey, listen, here's what I need you to do. DeAndre Swift, I need toss it to him, hand it to him. I need you slants, curls, boom, boom, boom. Get that short game tight. Of course they're going to have deep passes. Don't get silly. Of course they're going to go deep, but maybe not as deep as much as he would like. Maybe not until he becomes more comfortable. Maybe not until he catches up to the speed of the game or the game slows down for him. Maybe not. So we'll see. But he's saying Caleb's a winner. He's saying Caleb's extremely competitive. Man, I really, really hope it plays out, and hopefully we should get to the playoffs. I think I still hold Caleb. I hold the Bears to that this year. He had 7 wins, could have had 10, should have had 10. Okay, so I'm saying I want double digits and a playoff berth. It could be a wild card, whatever. This is interesting. We're moving into uncharted territories where you give people weapons. Holy cow, that's a crazy idea. Give your quarterback weapons. Give your quarterback, and more importantly, before we go to quick break, give your quarterback a play caller who knows how to call plays. I know that sounds really stupid and simple, but that hasn't been the case the last couple of years. Let's take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to continue with our Bears talk. My man, Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators. A passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds. Help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Blitz pressure. Plenty of time for Williams, setting up shop, looking long, got his man. It's Washington. It's touchdown.
Around branch motions, and look at all that. Opens up a huge gap. Caleb Williams off to the races and finally rode down Diane Sayuli to save a touchdown.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. That's our new quarterback, Caleb Williams. And man, well, I'm excited to see where this next chapter of Chicago Bears history goes. All right. But first, before we bring in my guest, man, I was hanging out yesterday. We were hanging out yesterday at the party over at Output. Little Savage herself.
Get down, little mama. 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 Get down, little mama.
Maya!
You know, this has to happen before the guests come on, because they're going to be like, what's going on here?
The hell was that?
I know the guests going to be like, oh, okay, this is different. This is different. Yes, it was such a good time last night at the draft show. It was a great turnout. They were all enthusiastic, which it makes me feel like the first game of the season, there's probably a watch show on tap. I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen. So.
Yeah, it was a good vibe yesterday. The place erupted. I mean, we knew it was going to be Caleb, but even though just hearing it, the fans went crazy over at Output in the back where we were, in the front of the bar as well. It was just a great atmosphere. And then when they got Roma Dunze, man, they went nuts again, because that was our dream. Okay, cool. You got him. Now you got a receiver. Now they're lined up. You got a stud receiver for the next 5 years in line with Caleb. Their timelines are the same, in addition to DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. So it's a really good time for the Chicago Bears. And we're going to bring on our next guest. We just got done talking with Randy Trivers, my good friend from college, who's Caleb Williams' high school coach at Gonzaga. And he was saying that Caleb is Caleb. All right. He's about winning. He doesn't care about stats. And this is what Caleb echoed earlier, when they asked him about 4,000 yards, and he said, I'm not here to wow you. I'm here to win games. And Brandy said that, there were times when Caleb threw the ball 40 times in high school, and there were times when he threw it less than 15. So whatever needed to be done, Caleb did. So that puts me at ease knowing that this guy, because initially we talked about it last night, Maya, you're not going to say, all right, Caleb, I need you to throw the ball 35 times in week 1. No, that's not how it's going to happen. You're going to run the ball. You're going to play defense. Let him throw the ball, some short routes. Of course, you're going to take shots deep. Obviously, but they're going to be calculated. But they're saying that this guy he's good, and he's patient as well.
Well, he's not here because he's not good. My inner Vulcan will not let people say things to me that are not rational. Okay. 1, he's not here because he's not good. Let's just establish this. Okay. 2, he is here because he has potential and an ability that has been proven, at least at the middle range assessment point, that he should be able to do well in the pros. Definitely comes from a program that's well established. Definitely plays with respectively in the division with competition. You know what I'm saying? So, it's not like he played a bunch of schools that, some divisions just aren't as good.
Big Sky. He come from the Big Sky Conference.
Right. And you look at people's, the schedule tells you a lot about not just how good the team is, but it also is a development point. So there's enough here about him that makes me say, yes, there's a possibility, as it was with the other, other 40 quarterback. Let me stop. That he can be good. I guess for me, the fanfare is just a little too much, because there is nothing that tells you that he is what you think he is until he becomes what you think he is. And I like the comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. I just don't feel they're very lateral. And I was like, he is his own person. He does his own thing. And Mahomes to me was coming out with that air raid type offense that he came out. I just don't see enough comparisons. Maybe there's a similarity here and there for some people. I just don't particularly care for it. And I don't want people to build their thinking of Caleb Williams based on people saying things like he's
the next Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Because then I think you're setting people up for a false sense of security if he does turn into that. So I'm like, be open that, okay, you have a fresh start, a new quarterback, probably one of the better draft picks they had in the last couple of years. I'm still not going to downplay Justin. I don't particularly care. I wasn't Team Fields. Everybody knows that. But but that chapter's closed. So everyone is overly excited. And I'm like, calm down. But okay, I guess I should rain on your parade. I did though.
Let's bring in our next guest. He's a good friend of the program. He's from A to Z Sports. He's been out. You've seen him on here once or twice or 10 times. You can find him on Twitter at Evan_A2TOZ A to Z. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Evan Winter. Evan, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
Morning. It's a great day to be anybody but a Falcons fan today, and I guess you could argue Bills fans.
Man,
as
can
well.
I tell you,
it's
Evan,
always a bad day to be a Bills fan.
I agree with you about if you're a Falcons fan. And now that was some fanfare I didn't understand. I was like, what's happening here? But I agree with you.
So they came out and said they're going to do the Green Bay model and let him sit. I'm like, well, wait a minute. He's going to be 24 this year. He ain't 21. He's going to be. So what's he going to sit for 2 years? So he starts when he's 26. Kirk Cousins has his whole contract guaranteed.
But the thing is, it's his history of injury that's not good. Leaving Indiana, going to Washington. He's had an injury almost every single year. I was like, so you're going to bank your future on someone who is not healthy, and you think because you sit him for a year and he doesn't get touched, that means something? I don't get that thinking. But that's Atlanta. There you go. There you go.
This is true. They've got Kirk Cousins locked up through 2025.
I'm sorry.
And there's one difference between the 8th overall pick and the 26th overall pick, which was what Jordan Love was, and I think Aaron Rodgers was even the 24th overall pick. So two different spectrums in that regard too. And then there's also, I don't know if y'all saw, it came out this morning, they didn't even bring him in on a top 30 visit. They did some film work and spoke to him 45 minutes over Zoom, and they felt like that was enough legwork in order to make this monumental decision. So, hey,
so that's why he looked like a deer in headlights yesterday. That's why he looked like a deer in headlights. Like, are you for real? For real? They
nuts.
Think about this. The fact that the Falcons have Kirk Cousins, Falcon fans should really be highly disappointed in the organization, period, because I had to watch Cousins with the Vikings just absolutely make it miserable. Talk about someone stealing money. He has been stealing money.
FYI, Evan, her side team is the Vikings. So she's been a Vikings fan since Dennis Green. So when she's talking about, like, she watches, she loved the Vikings. All right. So she watches them. Yeah. So she's not just saying, well, from looking them far. No, she intently follows the Vikings.
Jenny was
for a lot.
So,
there's a total ceiling with Cousins at the end of the day, and I actually tweeted it last night. I said, the Falcons have so much quarterback PTSD that they drafted a dude number 8 overall to a dude that just gave $100 million guaranteed to. So it's absolutely insane. And I don't know. There's no amount of way for them to talk their way out of this. They're gonna have to live with this literally for 2 years, and then not even getting into the whole dynamic of only getting 1 year of evaluation before having to approve his 5th-year option, all that stuff down the road. But they're going to have to ride this out for 2 years, just like the Eagles did. They put themselves in the same position pretty much as the Eagles did when they drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round, still had Carson Wentz on the roster. It's wild. Because, again, with the 8th overall pick, that's the crazy part.
That's
all
what
right.
that's what
Bears.
Yeah. Let's talk Bears. Let's talk thing. Your thoughts yesterday? We knew it was the worst kept secret in the history of worst kept secrets. Caleb Williams. Your thought, your feeling when it was official, when Roger Goodell said the Bears select Caleb Williams. Your thoughts?
I love it. I love the pick. He's arguably the best quarterback in the draft. Obviously there was a lot of push for Jaden Daniels at the end there towards, not for the Bears to take Jaden Daniels, but just as the best guy on tape. I think Caleb Williams was the best quarterback in the draft. I absolutely loved how the first shot of the Bears, the war room was just then like staring at the TV. It felt like the movie Speed whenever they put the tape on loop. I was like that. It was so hilarious though. I don't know. I love just how Ryan Poles goes about his business. But anyways, he's going to bring exactly what y'all were talking about, before I came on in terms of just, dynamic playmaking ability. He's set up to where he doesn't have to use his out of structure abilities, so to speak, for lack of better phrasing, because the Bears have built infrastructure around him. Obviously, he's got, just a ton of weapons at his disposal, and it should hopefully, and the biggest key, and this is what, and I might even write about this later, is, and y'all were talking about this, is everything is set up for him. Now it is on the Bears to make sure this works. Obviously, Caleb's going to have to put in the work himself, all of that jazz. And Ryan Poles talked about it in his presser. He said that they're all going to have to be on the same page as an organization in order to make sure this absolutely works. And it has to work. Football gods be damned. unless just every single player gets injured next year or this year, whatever phrasing we want to use. I mean, it's got to work. There's no reason for it not to. They've got a good play caller. They've got a good offensive line. They have skill set. They have skill position guys. They have a defense that can hold its opponents in check. I mean, it all should work for a smooth transition for Caleb. But at the end of the day, it is the NFL. But I mean, come on, like it has to work ultimately. And I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be so much fun.
If his skill set is okay, let's do some comparison that actually makes sense. Let's look at someone like Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, and let's put Caleb Williams. So I'm talking about quarterbacks I would kind of say had early success because the pieces, the puzzle were pretty much in place so that they didn't come into, oh, there's no line, or oh, there's no receivers, there's no run game. So each of them kind of walked into relatively good situations. So when you look at that, because this is the school of thinking, how do you think he then will matriculate through this process? Like, here's the difference, and this has been the issue with Bears quarterbacks. Unlike, let's say, Jordan Love, he had someone to sit behind and watch. We're back to a guy who doesn't. So we have to have full faith that the team that's put around him, this is really about development. So let's take Patrick Mahomes out of the question. Let's compare him to someone like Love or even Stroud. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so, the Love comparison is really interesting because he came in his first full year as a starter. He had all of those, I think, not one player in terms of skill players, and even on the offensive line, David Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins were the only two players over 25 years old on the Packers starting offensive roster. So he was thrown into a situation where there is just a ton of youth right off the bat. None of his skill players were in more than their second year. It was Christian Watson's second year. So he was like the elder statesman in terms of the offensive skill players. And we watched them, and oh my God, I remember saying at week 8, the Packers were going to be drafting top 5 just because of how bad they looked, and especially on offense, and just how they kept making all these dumb mistakes. But we watched him grow as well as the offense throughout the entire year. You take that and you put it into the Caleb Williams situation, and I mean, that's Caleb Williams' situation, but on steroids. He's got experience. He's got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. He's got, a second-year player in Darnell Wright on the outside playing right tackle, but Braxton Jones is now going into his third year as a starter.
Third year.
Yeah, you've got Ryan Bates. You got Tevin Jenkins. Even though he's been on and off the field with injuries, he's still got playing experience. And then you've got Nate Davis. Hopefully his 2024 gets off to a better start than his 2023 did, and then he's another veteran guy. So it's you got to think that these guys will be able to help lift Caleb and help that development, and that is the key thing I think that everybody needs to keep in mind with this going forward. Is like if he doesn't come right out of the gates and start just waylaying everybody and throwing 3 to 4 touchdown passes a game and running for 75 yards, 250 through the air, whatever we want the stat line to be. As long as he's taking steps in his progress and we're seeing him make those on-schedule throws, read the field correctly, dissect defenses pre-snap and post-snap, then that's all that matters because the rest of the team will be able to lift him up. And I think his skill set will allow him to get to that point as well. But then when you look at CJ Stroud, that's a really interesting scenario because he was also thrown into the mix with some young guys. Tank Dell, obviously being a rookie. Nico Collins, I think last year was his 3rd year. I think he's going into his 4th year this year, maybe his 5th year. Regardless, still not of true veteran status. But then you got a guy like Dalton Schultz, who was a veteran tight end. You've got Laramie Tunsil, the best left tackle in the game. So there were foundational pieces there. But I think the key with him was Bobby Slowick. And this
Bingo.
This is where it goes back to coaching. And that's where we hope Shane Waldron the Bears quarterbacks coach is. Didn't they get the guy from Seattle? His name's
Corey Joseph. I mean,
I can't. His name's slipping my mind. But either way, that's where you hope both of them come into play and really help elevate Caleb and get him to just to see the field how he needs to. And I think all of that can happen. I really do. And the key thing with Shane Waldron. His offense, obviously, it's not a replica of Lincoln Riley, but there's a lot of spread elements that are the same. He's not afraid to run the ball. He's not afraid. And we'll probably talk about this in a little bit. I've got a day 3 or a day 2 target, maybe a day 3 target I would love to see the Bears take. But regardless, I think they're going to be creative enough around him to use those skill sets, in order to his best advantage.
Yeah, Kerry Joseph, that's the quarterback coach, Kerry Joseph.
There we go.
So let me ask you this, and this is not me like just trying to necessarily compare apples to oranges, but I think it's an interesting thing to kind of put in perspective. Even though he's going to be a rookie and Justin Fields had experience, what do you think when you talk about making such a big change? Because it's not that Justin did not have talent. That's not the question. I think it was just maybe it run its course. But when you look at Caleb versus Justin, what do you feel he can bring to the game that's going to be a plus versus what might Justin have done better that Caleb is going to have to work on, just looking at his current installment of his college game?
I think Justin had a better deep ball. I think Caleb obviously has a good deep ball. I think Justin had a better one, though. And I think Caleb can make those intermediate to those shorter level throws a little bit more accurately than Justin can. Justin could still make those throws, but I think Caleb can do it in a more efficient manner. And, when it comes to their playing within structure, I think they're both kind of at the same level. Maybe Caleb's got a little bit more on Justin, but overall, and I said this on the show a couple years ago, when in 2022, whenever Justin was really just making play after play every single week. Justin's abilities as a runner, I think he's the best running quarterback since Michael Vick, and it's because he can outrun you, he can run through you, he can dance around you. I mean, he can do it all. He's Josh Allen, he's Lamar Jackson, he's I'm trying to think of another fast quarterback running it off the top of my head. But then he's also Russell Wilson back when Russell Wilson was, at his heyday, being able to just always spin and get out stuff in the pocket. So I think Justin's a better runner overall, and he's a more dynamic runner. He's an explosive runner. I think Caleb's just a little bit further in terms of overall passing. I think Caleb's a little bit more further advanced. I think they're both at the same level in terms of football IQ, though. But they both get the game. And I think both of them are kind of at the same point where they could, in terms of reading the field and whatnot.
So it sounds like, at least from that, and I would agree with you, that Justin's athletic ability would definitely supersede Caleb's. He's got better natural athletic ability. But then it sounds like if you check boxes about all the things you want a quarterback to do besides just having good athletic ability, then Caleb steps in, like being able to maximize getting those short field opportunities. Obviously, he can develop the deep ball over time. He's got to make that adjustment. But, okay, so Justin just had a leg up when it came to athletic ability, but we know that's not the only thing we need to be able to win at this point. We need some more balance to it. Okay.
Well, and Justin also, and just, to zoom out and look at the whole big picture, Justin didn't have any help the first, 2 years of his career. And then when things really mattered last year, he got hurt, and it's just crazy. And it's unfortunate. So it's not all on him at the end of the day. Matt Nagy, as we all know, was just god awful, in his rookie year. And then it was just a bare bones roster, no pun intended. Really, I did not mean to put that in there. But it was just a completely, stripped roster in 2022. What the best, and no disrespect to Darnell, he's a good player, but that was your best receiver at the time, and tried to trade for Chase Claypool, and that didn't work out. He had no offensive line, got sacked, I think, NFL high, whatever the time was that year. I mean, it's just, he just had so many bumps that got in his way to where, it took him down at the end of the day. So hopefully he can get it going in Pittsburgh, though. At least they've got some structure out there.
We talked about timing, and Maya has used the Jake Arrieta situation. Remember when Jake Arrieta was pitching for the Cubs, end of 2015, beginning of 2016? I mean, the dude was unhittable. I mean, if you foul the ball off, you're ecstatic. And he won the Cy Young, but he didn't come out of contract after the Cubs won the World Series. If he came out of contract, he was probably in line for a $200 million payday. Well, he came out after 2017. Well, he wasn't as untouchable in 2017 as he was in 15 and 16, and he only ended up getting $75 million. So I'm sure he'll be in, the food stamps line shortly. But it's timing. It's timing, and that's what Ryan Poles mentioned it with Justin. And as you mentioned it, Nagy first year, tear down defense next year. Last year, then he gets hurt, and then the clock is ticking. Like, do we extend him? Do we disrespect him and not extend them, but want to keep him? I mean, so it's just timing, unfortunately. And you know me, and I'm a big Justin Fields fan, and it's just the timing was off, and that really sucked. And I do agree that I hope he does well over there in Pittsburgh. But getting back to the Bears, talk to me about Rome Odunze. Did you think he was going to be there? Because they started a little friendship. It started with them actually taking the same flight. Two This is the picture right here when they're going to Detroit, and they're saying, yeah, and you know how kids nowadays are like, oh, it'd be cool to play with each other, play on the same team, but be teammates. And man, I'll be damned. It goes from that picture to this picture, and that is crazy. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, going in, I was going to be surprised if he was there. Once the Chargers took Alt at 5, though, I knew for sure that he was going to be there because the Giants were either going to take Neighbors or J.J. McCarthy or, whatever other quarterback. Then you have the Titans. There was, Brian Callahan talked about taking receivers over tackles, but once they signed Calvin Ridley, you knew they were taking a tackle. So figured he was going to be there at 9 unless the Bears traded back. Thought the 49ers stuff pre-draft that came out was kind of interesting. But absolutely love the pick. He is a complete receiver. He's an X, another guy to put outside, officially put Keenan Allen on the inside where, he can do the dirty work underneath and even, the good work underneath too, because just how the slot goes these days. But just to have him and DJ on the outside that you can also interchange on the inside. And again, having Keenan, I mean, my God, man, this offense is going to be so much fun to watch, especially with Cole and Gerald. And then you got the running backs in the back. They're just going to be able to layer this passing attack like no other with intermediate routes, short routes, deep routes, especially when they get in the red zone. Adunze, that's really where, we're going to see him shine. It won't surprise me if he finishes the season with 8 or 9 touchdowns and, 4 of those come in the red zone. He's just a big-bodied, strong, physical, go up and get it, but can also beat you with speed, can also beat you with route running. I mean, there's an argument to make that he was better than Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is just his explosiveness. I can't remember the draft analyst, but they said he reminds them of Tyreek Hill in terms of explosiveness, which is crazy to think about. But regardless, I think that's kind of what separated him there. But in terms of just overall complete receiver, Odunze is excellent. And again, just another great fit for this offense. And if you're Shane Waldron, you've just got to be, you're like doing like the evil, like, man, like finger twirl thing, Mr. Burns. Cause it's just exciting. Yeah, it's just exciting. It's just exciting to think about right now.
Guys, we're joined by Evan Winter from A to Z Sports, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. So we don't pick again until 75, okay, which is the 4th round. What do you think we do there? What would you do there? Unless we make trades, which are definitely not beyond Ryan Pohl's his MO. But what do you think we do there?
Yeah, so this is the cool part about where the Bears have placed themselves. It's like with their draft picks, do you want to like kind of plan more for the future, get a developmental guy, that you can kind of bring along, maybe replace a vet that's going to get expensive down the road or, whatever. Or do you want to go ahead and just load up on another premium position like edge, get a special edge rusher that's going to take time to develop, but you can maybe bring them in specialized pass packages and stuff like that, whatever. They have so much flexibility going into it. So, but looking at the depth chart, there's a couple of spots that really stand out. Well, not really stand out, but really stand out in terms of just being able to play that game. And that's edge rusher, obviously. And I really like Austin Booker out of Kansas. He would be like a cool stand-up guy. You could rush from the outside, maybe move around the defensive front a little bit on obvious passing downs. And then there's Ben Sinnott, an H-back out of Kansas State. And this is the guy I was alluding to earlier. And he's had a top 30 visit with the Bears as well. This kind of offense, Shane Waldron, comes from the Shanahan, McVay, that whole system. H-backs in this kind of offense are extremely valuable. Now, I know they've got some similar guys in there. DeAndre Swift can kind of represent an H-back type role, but you can't really line DeAndre Swift up at tight end. You can line Ben Sinnott up at tight end. You can line Ben Sinnott up in the slot, and it would still it would put a lot of stress on the defense in terms of figuring out matchups. And again, they have 2 tight ends in Gerald and Cole who can do most of the work, and Ben can be this like specialized role. I mean, when you look at what Kyle Juszczyk can do, you look at, I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, he plays for the Ravens, what he can do. And then there's one more H-back I can't think of right off the top of my head, and I can't think of the team either, so it's kind of a useless example. But either way, I would love to see the Bears get an H-back type guy. I'm actually arguing for this for the Bucs because they have Liam Cohen, who is kind of in the same realm as Shane Waldron. I would love to see the Bears do that. But if they don't decide to do that, then safety is another spot. And let me just make sure I get his name real quick, right, because it's kind of a complicated one. Dadrian Taylor Demerson out of Texas Tech. Matt Eberflus, one thing that really stood out to me back, I think it was either during the combine or is right during free agency, one of the two, but it's right before they got Kevin Byard. And somebody asked him what he would like the safety next to Jaquan Brisker, what he would like him to be able to do. And he said he needs to be rangy. He needs to be fast. He needs to be able to cover space in center field. That is exactly what Taylor Demerson can do. His 10-second split time was absolutely insane. When you watch his tape, his burst and his range is just unreal. Kevin Byard is still a good player, but he is losing a step in the range and coverage department. He's kind of more of a box safety these days. He can still cover, but he's better suited closer to the line. And I think Taylor Demerson would be a great kind of chess piece back there for them. So Austin Booker, Ben Sinnott, Dadrian Taylor Demerson would be my 3 routes that I go on in the 3rd round.
We were talking yesterday, and one of the things I said was with that pick or the one on the 2nd pick, the last pick, give me a one-trick pony. Give me the edge rusher. Give me the Mark Anderson from 06.
Yeah,
I don't need you. I don't need you worried about the running back, and you don't tackle the running back on the way to the quarterback. You go directly past the running back, directly to the quarterback. And you know what? Mark Anderson had 10 sacks his rookie year in 06. So if you can get that, and now the defenses realize, okay, this guy is a one-trick pony. He's coming after the quarterback. On the other side, we got Sweat collapsing the pocket in the middle. We have Javon Dexter, and we have Andrew Billings. I think that'd be with that low pick, that the 75th or even 122nd pick. I think it's a great thing for even now, because we could go get a better edge rusher next year. I think because the edge rusher, the edge department is really deep next year. But just for now, I think that would be my personal thing. We talked about it yesterday. Just get a one-trick pony. All right, and when he comes in, it's a passing down. That's it. and he's ears bent, pinned back, and he's going for the quarterback. So if they do that, that would make me happy.
Real quick, yeah, just popped in my head. Imagine kind of like a NASCAR type package where
yes, sir, Bob.
It's like 3rd and 14, right? And then you've got Jervon, and you move DeMarcus Walker onto the inside. You got
yes, sir, Bob,
over the guards. Then you've got Sweat on, and then this other kid on the outside. Oh my God, man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly kind of what my thought was. When I was kind of looking everything over before I hopped on was, go get that guy, just that specialized player, whether it's that H-back, whether it's that maybe like a hybrid type safety linebacker guy or that edge rusher, whatever. Just go get that wild card that you can throw in specialized situations. Yes, that's there to make plays, and that's the awesome part about what the Bears, the position they put themselves in. It's so much fun. This team has been so much fun to pay attention to since Poles hopped on. Even as crazy as 2022 was, just the growth. Like, it's so hard to argue against what they've done. It's incredible.
Well, at least so far, first we.
Well, yeah, you got to win. Now they got to win. Yeah, they got to win now. So yeah, now it's all about that. It's all about that.
Yeah, now we've got to put it into action and see what happens at this point. So
right,
yes,
right.
So playoffs or not,
man, it's when you look at the division.
Because look at Minnesota. Minnesota just got JJ, and they just got Dallas Turner to replace Daniil Hunter. That's a situation that JJ McCarthy's stepping into. Yeah. Wow, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson. That is a really nice situation as well. The Packers, they're still a pain in our ass. And Detroit, although they're the division champs, we still have their number. We outplayed them for one game in 55 minutes. You know what I mean? So
yeah, the NFC North is tough, man. And yeah, going back to the Vikings, it's just like with Caleb. You've got a rookie quarterback entering a good situation, and a lot of people don't talk about it, but the Vikings have arguably the best tackle duo in Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill in the NFL. So it's an excellent situation. It's so tough to say right now, but just for sake of the conversation and to have fun with it, I can definitely see them winning. They've got to beat the Packers, though. They've got to at least do it one damn time. I mean, it's just that last game last year was so disappointing because it was just supposed to be the moment, right? That everything, they finally got him. But I would say yes, just because overall you still look at the NFC South. There's still a lot of unknown, especially with Atlanta. Now, down in there. The NFC East, you've got the Commanders rebuilding. The Giants are a mess. The Eagles are on the decline still. The Cowboys, yeah, they win during the regular season, but that's all you got to worry about over there.
Regular
Somebody's
season
got to win the
champions,
division.
baby.
Yeah, somebody's got to win the division. That doesn't affect the Bears at the end of the day because somebody's got to win the division. Then the NFC West, I really like what the Rams are doing. Seahawks are up and down. Cardinals are up and down. What's the other team I'm losing out? Either way, 49ers, yeah, the 49ers. So So if the Bears can go 3-3 in their division, I think they can make the playoffs. I think they do that. I think they can do that. So yes, I say playoffs. Yes.
Okay, I do too. I expect playoffs. You got, one of the things we just had on actually my good friend, my college buddy, and Caleb Williams, old head coach at Gonzaga High School, and he said Caleb is willing to do whatever. Because I asked him, I said, what is Caleb going to be okay with? We're going to run the ball, okay, a lot. You're going to throw passes here and there. Don't get me wrong. But we're going to relate ball control, offense, defense, and phenomenal defense. Don't expect to throw it 25, 30, 35 times a game. And Caleb alluded to it the other day, earlier, but my guy said Caleb will do whatever it needs. He says he had him throw over 40 times in high school, and there were times where he threw under 15. And he said he was cool with both of them. And, I think if that is going to if he is okay with that, that's going to help him grow because you have playmakers. Like if he's a much better, version of Brock Purdy, that's all you need. You got the running back, you got receivers, you got tight ends, you got defense. Don't try to make plays for yourself. By yourself. You let your playmakers make the plays. That's why they're playmakers. And if he's okay with that, yeah. And I expect him to be okay because they need to have that conversation with him. Like, look, you have a lot of talent. You have all the talent in the world. But here's how we're going to bring you along. And I think if you're up front, especially with football or any team sport, if you're up front with people, hell, in life, you're up front with people like, here's the situation. So you need to get on board with it or not. If you don't, cool, let us know. But here it is. So now you're not surprised, pouting, this when you throw, 20 passes. And I think Ryan Poles is going to be that dude. And if Caleb Williams accepts that, this team can go very, very far with the strength bowlers of a DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, that defense, a Montez Sweat, a Jalen Johnson. I think it can be very, very, very encouraging for this team moving forward because, man, they are stacked on defense. They're stacked at the skill positions. So you just got to grow.
When you look at the tough losses he had last year too, I mean, it was the majority of them was because his defense just couldn't stop anybody, completely let him down. So I think he's going to be more than happy if there's a game where they win 17-10 or 12-9 or whatever. Like I think he'll be just fine. Like y'all were talking about earlier, his comment about how he's just here to win games. Based on seeing how he those losses affected him, and it was a positive way. Obviously, he turned it into a positive, but just seeing how frustrated and emotional he got after those games, I think he'll be more than happy winning games where he's relying on others. So yeah, it's gonna be just fine. And honestly, I can't wait to watch him throw for like 500 yards and 5 touchdowns and then get out his pink fingernail polish and like twiddle his fingers in the camera and just piss off an entire fan base and bring out all the losers who hate that stuff. Like I can't wait to watch all those losers get just irate. It's going to be so much fun.
Well, you know what? If he throws for 500 yards and a victory, you could paint your fingernails whatever freaking color you want.
Hey, who cares? Yeah, man, exactly. I can't wait to see all the losers get exposed who can't stand that. So it's gonna be so much fun, man. You go for it. Do what you do, man.
Dude, that is awesome. Any other sleepers that you saw in the draft yesterday? Like, okay, we talked about Minnesota having a really good draft. Who else did you see that you liked in their first after the first round picks?
Yeah, so I really like what sometimes keep it simple, stupid. At the end of the day, I like the Washington Commanders taking Jaden Daniels. I definitely think he's more ready than Drake May. I definitely think he's more ready than JJ McCarthy. Even though McCarthy's in a good situation, that's gonna help him big time. Okay. I love the Lions move to trade up for Terrion Arnold.
Cornerback,
I think that dude's an absolute baller. He's gonna do really, really well. I don't like the Packers' selection of Jordan Morgan. Now, he does seem like a good fit for their offense, but it's going to take some time. Now, granted, they're really good at cross-training all their guys. So, if he doesn't work at tackle, then they'll probably find a way to make it work to an extent on the inside. Still felt like 25 was a little high for me. And then I love the Ricky Pearsall selection from the 49ers. That dude and that offense is going to be, just absolutely phenomenal. And then I like Brock Bowers at 13 to the Raiders. With him, with him and Devontae Adams and Michael Mayer. I think that's interesting. Hated the Bo Nix pick. That was weird. But Sean Payton's going to Sean Payton at the end of the day. So
yeah, it was weird. I agree.
It was weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the NFL is so quarterback drunk. It is just crazy. Every single year somebody or somebodies are gonna overreach. They're gonna suck for the next 4 years, and it's just gonna rinse and repeat, go on and go. It's just wild to watch. But hey,
yeah, it's and your interesting take on McCarthy. I think McCarthy's gonna be good. I think
I do too. I just right now, I think.
Yeah, I just don't. Right now. Yeah, I just don't think he was asked to do a lot of Michigan. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think the kid can sling it. It's just but again, what they're going to do, and you got Kevin O'Connell. There's one hell of a play caller. Yes. Jesus Christ, that's one hell of a. Listen, JJ, like they're going to say to Caleb here, you're going to hand off to Aaron Jones. Right? You're going to throw quick passes to Justin Jefferson, quick passes to Jordan Addison. Got the tight end over the middle. All right, don't try and do too much. I'm not going to ask you to win games. I'm going to ask you not to lose them.
Yes.
And I think that's a great situation for him. So this division is going to be really, really, really competitive. But you know what? It's great because if we come out of this division, we know we're ready for anybody. We're ready for anybody. So, man, I'm anxious. I can't wait. And so Caleb's wearing number 18, his high school number. His number was retired at Gonzaga. 18 was retired at Gonzaga. And so he's going to wear. So all the Jamokes. Actually, they weren't even selling 13 jerseys. Somebody was telling me they went online 2 days ago to buy a Caleb Williams 13 jersey, customized, and they wouldn't sell it. They wouldn't sell it off of Fanatics. Really? Yeah.
I saw he already broke the record. He already broke Caitlin Clark's record. I saw that for most sold
Shut
jerseys.
the front door.
Yeah, it came out. Yeah, one of our guys actually wrote about it earlier this morning. Yeah, but he's already broke. I can't remember what the exact record was, but yeah, he set the new record for most sold jerseys already.
I'm gonna look. You know what? I'm gonna look it up on the break because dude, that is insane. Because Caitlin Clark went ham with her jerseys. Holy cow! Yeah, hey, Evan, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, A2ZSports.com. It's where you can find everything. We've got so much draft coverage out right now, so be sure to check it out for all 32 teams. And then you can find me on Twitter at Evan_A2Z.
Great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Bear down. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting as the season rolls around.
Predicting it right now, Bears Commanders week 1. That's what the NFL is going to set us up for. So let's hope for it.
That would be nice.
Williams. Let's go. Yeah.
You know what? Keep it on the lakefront. Keep it on. We got to have you back because I want to talk to you about that lakefront.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, thanks a lot. You have what's today? Friday? Yes, today's Friday. What day is today?
Friday. Yes.
I partied too hard with all those Sprites yesterday that I had. Well, you have a good weekend, right, boss?
Enjoy the rest of the draft.
Thank you. Likewise. Guys, that's Evan Winter from A2Z Sports, talking Bears football with us. Man, I forgot it was Friday. Oh, hold on.
Think about, there's an interesting kind of, I was looking at like some of the past NFL drafts and quarterbacks, like leading up to where we are now, and looking at like who made the cut, where they're at. So if we step back to like 2017, that was Mahomes, Watson.
Deshaun Watson, Kaiser, Mitch.
Like big ones, but kind of the bigger ones than that. Of course, also coming out of that draft as not quarterbacks was McCaffrey and Cooper Kupp. Okay, solid draft. All of them have pretty much, Deshaun Watson kind of hit his, but that might have been personal reasons. Who knows what kind of threw Watson off track. Then you go to 2018. That was Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. I mean, think about that. Now, mind you, everyone we pretty much just named right there is still playing. Baker finally maybe landed in the right place with Tampa Bay because I feel like Tampa Bay is a good fit for Baker Mayfield. So you look at that draft. Then you go to 2019. Kyler Murray was in there. from a quarterback standpoint, quarterback, and I'm just saying, but like, look at what's there. 2020, that was one of those really stacked ones. Joe Burrow, Tua, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. So look at from 2020. Now you look at Hurts. You know what I'm saying. You look at where it took them to kind of make that step forward. Then in 21, you had Fields, Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and look at where that kind of. So I'm like, from a developmental standpoint, 22, you get Brock Purdy. I mean, I'm just saying, as you move through these, what's interesting about these draft picks until you look at last year, which was like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud just blew everybody's mind. Like, whoa. What's interesting is, what is the time it takes to matriculate to be able to win? Is what's interesting. And I think if we looked at all these quarterbacks that are still playing based on this 5-6 year draft period, we got to look at, because I was looking at an argument that was going full-fledged over in the comments right now. I mean, they're about to, I'm glad they're not sitting in the room together, because I'm not sure what happened. They are just in there going at it right now about Fields and some other stuff. Here's the thing. I think people need to stop thinking one-dimensionally about this. The Bears have never, ever done a good job at drafting quarterbacks. And when they've had some decent quarterbacks, they've managed to ruin the situation because they weren't ready, which was either there wasn't the proper head coach in place, maybe pieces were missing like the line, receivers, just different dynamics weren't in play. And yet anybody who wants to look at Justin Fields and just say he's a bust, he wasn't good, that's not fair. Because literally Justin walked into the same door that many other quarterbacks worked into, but guess switching coaches, offensive coordinators, you know what I'm saying, not having this. There was too many variables here for you ever to look at somebody's ability and to say that you're a bust because your support and tools were not in place. You're not. It's like if I send you into your job without support and tools and tell you to go be phenomenal, regardless of the fact the house around you is on fire or burning down, you would look at me and tell me that I'm crazy. So I'm kind of confused why people look at people because they're athletes. And if things are not in place, make the assumption that they're going to thrive and still like win it all without having the proper things in place.
Because they're meatheads, Maya. They're stupid meatheads.
I'm about to send you to your job and say, I'm about to pull all your resources. I'm about to give you no support. And I think you're going to still be number one and a shining star. You might thrive, but you'll never be what you can be if you are not properly supported. That makes me scary and say, I hope some of these people ain't got kids. I was like, because if this is your mindset about what it looks like to be successful, that's
develop yourself, kid. Grow up and raise yourself, kid. I mean,
it's kind of scary. I mean, I know they're athletes, and we make this mistake of the assumption, because this is pro, that they're supposed to just make things happen. It's
like to develop themselves.
Yeah, and it doesn't, and the Bears, unfortunately, for season upon seasons, have walked in, rookie quarterbacks with nobody to learn from. But what does history tell you? When you get to sit behind somebody for a year or two, they're amazing. Patrick Mahomes would have had the same narrative had he been in Chicago. He would not have been what we thought he could have been. He would not be the Mahomes, because he got to go to Kansas City. By the way, he had a competent chief, a coach, and obviously, and Andy Reid. He got to be behind Alex Smith for like a year, and so he had all the things that were going to help him to really be able to acclimate himself to the game without being just dropped into it. But imagine being dropped into something that's not even really prepared. So I'm looking at this argument. I'm like, I don't think anybody should ever say Justin Fields is a bust. Now, you leave Chicago, and if that pattern keeps continuing, then you can say he's a bust, right? You could probably now say that about Mitchell Trubisky. He was a bust, right? He left Chicago. He was with Bills with a phenomenal quarterback coach. You saw some improvement, but he was never meant to be a starter. That's just the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Pittsburgh tried it, wasn't meant to be a starter. Done. But I want to see what Justin does in Pittsburgh with being Russell Wilson, who has some similar skill sets who can help him develop. And then you've got a head coach that's going to want him to be successful. I don't think you can call Justin a bust until you see him in another, let's say, system. Because, we don't like to talk about systems, and see how he thrives in an established, supportive system. And I'm not, and you know me, I wasn't Team Fields. I wasn't all in Fields. I'm just giving an honest assessment. Like, I'm trying to figure out what somebody calling somebody a bust like that, because it's not a rational thing to say at this point.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's, people think what CJ Stroud did was like phenomenal, and it was good. But look at what happened when you have, and this again, I've said it a million times, want to listen. Coaching matters. It doesn't matter, what team you go to. What does the coach, as a quarterback, does your coach or as your offensive coordinator, can he call plays? Can he call plays that suit your skill set? Can he devise schemes to get receivers open? That's the thing. And, so when people say dumb stuff like that and he's a bust.
Doesn't matter. Leonidas, there's no way.
Maya, don't. He's a troll.
I get it, but I like him. I
He's a
mean,
troll.
him have engaged. We got to get back to that segment we talked about fan speak, where we were going to allow fans to come on the show and say this stuff. I love this.
He won't come on. He's a troll. He won't come
at certain points of times, there are outliers. I'm going to tell you that to me, CJ Stroud is an outlier, not because he's not talented, because most people don't come into the game ready. Now, let's see what happens in year 2, because it'll be interesting. I mean, and did he come into a system that was prepared and was supportive, and then his ability was just able to skyrocket? If lucky, you could get that from Williams, if that's the case, but we'll see what's going to happen. But I just think it's interesting that he says that. But again, I don't know. So,
but he came in. He had the play caller, Maya. That's the whole thing. And when Bobby Slowick leaves next year, I thought he was going to get a head coaching gig this year. When he leaves next year, that's going to be the issue. How well he plays. Because look at Josh Allen; his play has declined once Brian Daboll left and went to New York. So we just got to see. But hopefully, the beginning of it. Hopefully the beginning of his career where he was coached well can still carry over, and he can remember and keep some traits with the new head coach or the new play caller once Bobby Slowick leaves, probably after the 24 season. So
I love it. I don't know. I enjoy people that you said that are like dislike to be rebel rousers. He's like, coaching don't matter. Well, I hope he ain't got no kids, because you about to tell me that parenting don't matter either at this point. Like, coaches become that version of a parent, a role model, a person who helps you to develop. So anybody is like saying good teachers don't matter. I don't know what vacuum.
Well, that's what coaches are, Maya. That's all coaches are.
I'll say this again. Being a mental health professional, I'm laughing at this. Like, I don't know where you came from, but whatever it is, I don't know. But you're not sitting on my couch so that I could dig into your brain, tell you what's not working in there, right? I still enjoyed though. He got everybody worked up.
Yeah, he trolls a lot of different sites.
Rebel rouser. He's in there being a detractor in the comments. I'm like, they're just getting it in. I think it's cute personally. It's so adorable. But yeah, you know what? We're gonna see what happens. There's a lot of new things here. Polls, without question, did some stuff that upset people, but I was actually okay with it, because I was like, something. Sometimes you have to really do something different if you want something different, and it's not like let's placate, let's just hold on. When he started pulling apart the defense, remember everybody was like gasping for air, like, oh, you're letting that go, you're doing this, you're doing that, and people were like, oh, but look where they are from a defensive standpoint already. I mean, so Poles, if he pulls this off, and by the way, his amount of scrutiny equally is high, because he's not doing anything in vain. He knows the scrutiny is high for him if he fails at this.
Yeah.
So he's a lot invested in his reputation and getting the Bears to where they want to. Well, he's made some hard choices. Now we just have to see what this looks like. I didn't have an issue with them parting from Fields. I don't like the way it happened necessarily, because I think that Justin has to walk away with this tarnished reputation, which I don't think is fair. But I do think he went to an organization that can be good for him, and that's what they didn't send him someplace like awful. So we're going to see what happens. But with Caleb, it seems like, what did I tell you my issue with him is? I don't know if mentally he's prepared for this. But I'm going to hope that it is not just a moment of just, I don't know why you did that kind of thing. I'm just hoping that he's ready for the criticism that's going to come with it if he does not meet expectations. And fans need to be balanced as well and say, don't expect him coming out the gates looking at CJ Stroud. He's not. He has to make the adjustment to the speed of the game. All those things have to happen. So I just hope he's ready for that, because there's a lot there in play with new coaching, new pieces. It's not going to be seamless initially. So,
well, I can see him. I can see him coming out of the CJ Stroud. I can see him having those things, and I can see him struggling. I can literally see it either way. And Bears, I think so can the Bears. So that's why what they did was get an experienced play caller. They saw what CJ Stroud did with an experienced play caller. They saw what Joe Burrow did. Speaking of Joe Burrow, now what's Joe Burrow going to? What can you expect from Cincinnati now that his play caller Callahan is gone? Okay, so now are we going to see a drop off from Joe Burrow, because that's the only guy he's ever known in the pros calling plays? So as far as Caleb goes, I think this is why the Bears did what they did, bringing in this guy, bringing in talent, bringing up in the offensive line with a defense that was already playoff ready.
Oh, no. I mean, I think they put him in the best case scenario. In fact, I'll be honest, Shawn, this might be the best I've seen any quarterback walk into a Bears situation in a decade. Through it. Seriously. Like, really, like, pieces of the puzzle are in place. They're not like we're still missing. They should be able to have some amount of success. I'm not saying sweeping success, but some amount of success coming gate. So then here becomes my question. So preseason gets slightly reimagined, pulling the game away and putting it in regular season, so fewer games. So I'm assuming coming out the gates is the expectation that Williams is going to get most of the snaps in preseason. I mean, obviously it's up, but the expectation to be correct that if they want him to be game time ready, he's got to pretty much be their starter in preseason, correct? Okay.
Yep. No, he's there's no if. People say they want a veteran. They want a veteran to back them up. All right, because Tyson Bagent, I think, is a great story, and I think he can still have a nice little long. He can have a Chase. I don't know, a Chase Daniel type career as a backup, but he can hang around the league for a while and become a vested vet and get a pension. He could be around 6-8 years. Bouncing from team to team. Hell, most of the years might even, if not all, could be with Chicago. All right, and what a great thing for that young man to do. But no, Caleb's getting all of them. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's getting all of them. He's getting all the reps. He's getting all the. He gets about 90 to 95% of the reps. And Tyson, you're gonna have to just stay ready. Stay ready, so you don't got to get ready, kid. And come in and win half your games like you did last year. And just keep it afloat. Don't win games. Don't lose it. Don't win the season for us. Just don't lose it. Going over 3 or 4 or 5. If we ever have to play.
And I'm liking what Ed and Winter said out. Especially as you get deeper into the draft. At this point, I like how you said, "Hey, maybe go get that one-trick pony." But more than that, let's build some depth. Let's shore up some things like in the O-line, just in case somebody has to go out. Because we know O-linemen are draft developed. Not if they're in free agency, it's like somebody's about either to put you out to pasture or there's a contract dispute. So whenever a good O-lineman is out there, there's a reason for that. So you generally go into the draft. It usually, and if O-linemen make it to the draft most of the time, pretty quality overall. So I would like them to give me some depth. So if somebody goes out, you feel like you have something that's going to keep the continuity going, especially if you're moving forward. And I think that's something, especially in the last season or two, the Bears just did not have enough, especially at O-line. So I'm hoping in the draft, they're going to pick and pull and do that and say, okay, this is definitely part of the long-term plan has to be somebody's going to get hurt. So who steps in? Who can be that next man up? So I'm okay within the draft. I mean, you got the 2 biggest pieces that you needed at this point, and they were there. That thing, that's the benefit of suffering for a season or two. So I'd like them to see them get more depth in other positions as they go into the draft with those picks.
Well, yeah, they only got 2, so yeah, the one-trick pony. But I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm good. You got the. I'm good with it. Get a couple UDFAs, undrafted free agents. And when he says it's going to be tough to make the team, I like that. I love that fact because you got to work because that means there's competition. That means there's talent. And that's all you want. You want a competitive team. Literally, there should only be a handful of players who, a quarterback being one of them, who doesn't have to fight for his job every year. All right, there should only be a handful. All right, and everybody else has to compete. Okay, and if you're not a starter, well, hell, that's more than enough motivation for you. Period. End of story. DeMarcus Walker. You want a big contract? You re-sign with the Bears or sign someone else, get a big contract? You got to perform. So there's you just got to develop. You've got to get it done on the field, and I hope that these guys do, and I love the atmosphere of competition, which is what there should be at an NFL roster, or hell, in any sports in general. So it's going to be interesting. Week 1 is going to be fun. There's going to be a buzz about it. Preseason will be a little bit of a buzz, but not till week 1, or if it's a home game. The first home game is going to be a crazy buzz.
I think preseason might probably respectfully be exciting for Bears fans because it's going to be your chance to actually get to see Caleb in action in a Bears uniform. No, it's not necessarily indicative of what he's going to be in the stretch, but just that it's like the officially kind of like the newer era starts the minute that he steps on the field. You know what I mean? So I think that often people will be captivated by it. Just like, wow, okay, let's see what it looks like. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect. If it is, that's even better. But I think people definitely have to sit down and be realistic about it as Bears fans, because you don't want to put yourself in a position to feel disappointed if things don't, kind of materialize the way you think. Understand the difference between perfection and having a standard of excellence. Nothing is perfect in anything. What you want is a standard of excellence for this team moving forward. which is you want them to finally have a system in place. You want them to draft and develop players, something that just has not happened consistently, but it's because the Bears organization has been such a revolving door for, so many years. How many times we've uprooted and had new coaches and the coaching staff, like what, maybe every outside of Levy, like what, maybe every 3-4 years, give or take?
Yeah,
we're seeing like musical chairs. For once, you want to see what establishes excellence is having consistency, finding what your actual identity is and build accordingly. These are all the foundational pieces that the Bears have not had since the 85 Bears? I mean, actually, I'll take it back. I felt like Levy. I wasn't Team Levy necessarily, but I was this. The team had an identity. They played hard for him. And despite the fact that, you getting there, but not pushing through doesn't work for me, but clearly he's had the most success we've had at this point, But eventually when people got upset, I said, because, guys, you can't just, if you can get there but can't finish, that's not why you're there. This is why they're look at Mike Tomlin a little bit like, how many times are we going to do this before we say, maybe your shelf life is not the same anymore. So I respect what Lovey did, but it didn't accomplish the goal, which is not to get to the postseason. The goal is to win a Super Bowl. And I think people lose sight of that when they got mad about the firing. I'm like, no, you ain't getting one more year. I mean, that's just what it is. But respectfully, I will say, under Lovey, this team did have an identity. The talent was, to be honest, I felt like they should have won a Super Bowl. But I think the deficit was quarterback. That was, to me, that was the deficit. It was quarterback. There was a lot of talent on those teams. But the quarterback position was the one area that was always too sketchy or spotty. And that position that we all know the Bears struggle to figure out, what is the formula? How do we make this work? I'm hoping this time around in polls, he has a vision that a lot of the other GMs did not have, because often they were non-football people in those roles. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping his mindset and how he's seeing things, which I don't have an issue with shaking up the establishment to make things work. That's just how it is. Maybe this is a shift that starts from there. Eberflus, I'm still on the fence. I don't know what to make of this right now. I don't. So we'll see.
Yeah, I disagree with you on the part the quarterback position. It's the coaching. You had Jay Cutler, right? Rex Grossman. He didn't develop him. You can't give a guy that you can't give, Cutler seven. You can't give an offense seven play callers in 8 years. All right, there's no time to develop. And then at one particular point, you're going to get guys who get pissed off and get annoyed. Like, God bless it, another head coach. I mean, another play caller. Now we have to learn another scheme. Now we have other terminology, other thing, in that lack of continuity. And that's where I think Ryan Poles has done a great job with Shane Waldron. But also, when we were talking yesterday, he's got Thomas Brown, who's on staff here, who is the passing game coordinator. So Shane Waldron moves on. Okay. That Thomas Brown will have already been in the building working with Caleb Williams. So there's going to be no unfamiliarity. There's going to be a sense of familiarity and of comfort moving to this new guy once Shane Waldron gets a new gig.
I will agree with you on this. Especially kind of felt with Cutler. That was one of those times I felt like the Bears should have had greater success. But remember that he had 52 sacks? I was like, he was running for his life. I mean, but again, I said
first. Yeah.
So it was just, that was the one time that you put Rex in there. I ain't gonna be able to do Rex. Sexy Rexy didn't work for me. So that is him and Cutler are on the same page to me. I do feel that Cutler was a wasted opportunity. I will agree with you on that. That's what I said. There were pieces with Lovey that just didn't
Couldn't
gel.
Get the offense now. Just couldn't for whatever reason.
Right. He was a defensive-minded guy. See, this is why you might love a defensive-minded coach, but look what happens. But at the same time, you see that same reflection when it's an offensive-minded coach and how the defense might suffer. So this is where your upper management has the vision to see past it. He allowed Eberflus to bring people in, and he did not select the right people. So here we are, back to, okay, we're going to go a different route. So now Eberflus, I don't know what this means for him. I guess he could focus defensively, whatever. I don't know. But I do feel this is the first time in a long time things are aligning in regards to laying a foundation and letting things make sense versus let's just throw stuff out and see what happens and see what sticks. I feel like they're actually attempting to build a foundation, something we really have not seen them do like a long time. So I might be open-minded, but be objective in this process. And don't get so sucked in. Yes, Caleb is a good fit to the puzzle, but we don't know how this is all going to work. We're not even sure if he is the right fit. I mean, we don't know what the puzzle looks like yet.
No, we don't. We have an idea, and that's the whole thing. I know you got to run. We're gonna wrap this up, man. 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank my guest, one of my best friends from college, Randy Trivers, who happened to be Caleb Williams' high school coach, came on and gave us a little inside scoop on Caleb. And then I also want to thank Evan Winter from A to Z Sports coming on talking Bears football. And it's always good to see the Sports Chica, a little savage herself, Maya Kai. Man, 2 days in a row at the draft party yesterday and then today. I didn't even go to church this week.
That's what happens when the semester starts to slow down. I can actually think outside of the book. So, there you have it. That's why I'm here.
So listen, we guys, have a phenomenal weekend. I want to thank those guys for coming on. I want to thank you guys. The chat was going crazy, going nuts. So Leonidas, all right, guys, don't pay attention to him. You know what he is. He's a troll, and that's cool. Let him be. All right. If it gets too silly, we'll ban him. We'll block him. He's just don't pay attention. It's like your little 5-year-old cousin who starts calling you names or saying stuff. You ignore him. Like, okay, whatever. Let him go.
Everyone can have a troubled child in the group. Leonidas, behave yourself. Behave yourself. Okay, behave yourself. We just can't get rid of the troubled children like that. We have to have a little compassion and empathy. So Leonidas, behave yourself before we have to kick you out. Now, see, I'm trying to advocate for you. You can stay in the group, but if you're going to stay in the group, here's the rule: don't talk nasty to people. Don't call people names. We're all adults here, and we should be able to express ourselves without being negative. Seriously, men, there's all men here, right? There's no boys, because only boys can't really express themselves. So as long as you can express your opinion and not be nasty, I'm good. That's life. But if you're going to be nasty, then we're going to have to put you in timeout.
Yep.
And see, I'm not here all the time, so I can't do it.
Guys, have a phenomenal weekend. It's going to be gorgeous here in the weekend. It's going to be 75, 80 today. It's going to be nuts. Yes. It's going to be nuts in the shy. Oh, no, 80 tomorrow. Oh, Saturday and Sunday, 80. It's going to be 65 today only, but still, wonderful thing. Listen, guys, have a phenomenal weekend and do yourself a favor. Be the reason somebody smiles. All right. Give someone a text you haven't talked to in a while. You can send voice texts. All right. Just record a little message. Hey, man, what's going on? How's the fam? What's going on? Just touch base. Hit me back when you can. I guarantee you that will make somebody very, very happy. If you're in the Chicagoland area, enjoy your weekend. It's going to be nice. Man, car washes are going to be crazy. The rooftops are going to be jumping. Patios are going to be jumping. Get out there. Sunday brunch is going to be off the chain. I'm telling you, I'm actually going to a Sunday brunch with a good friend of mine who's putting them on. So make sure you hit a Sunday brunch. Spend time with family, friends, and loved ones. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, Elliot Baez, our executive producer, Clarence, our social media guy, and for my girl here, Maya Kai, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Guys will be on today later at 1 with Nomad. At 12:15, we also have Second City Sports. Tomorrow, we're going to replay this show at 6 tonight. And then tomorrow, the Smoke Fellows from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Man, enough Sports Zone Chicago for your liking again. So for everyone here, guys, have a phenomenal weekend. For the Sports Chica, I'm the Superback. Guys, we out.